Every year, at the beginning of November, cemeteries in Mexico are filled with light, color, music, and memory. What might seem like a celebration of death is, in reality, a celebration of life, of love that continues beyond absence. Thousands of kilometers away, in Munich, two German photographers decided to follow that light. Gabi and Ralf traveled to Mexico to witness and document Dia de los Muertos not as a tourist but as observers of a deeply human ritual. Today, they are bringing that experience back home through a photographic exhibition that not only shows images but recreates the atmosphere, the colors, and the spirit of this extraordinary tradition. In this conversation, we explore what they saw, what they felt, and how looking at death through Mexican eyes transformed their perspective. Hi Gabi, hi Ralf. Thank you for accepting this informal conversation. It's really a pleasure for me to speak with you today.
Thank you.
Hola, Emilio.
Thanks for coming here. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Emilio.
Well, let's start with an obvious question. What inspired you to travel to Mexico to document Dia de los Muertos?
Was your idea, right?
Yeah, it was my idea. Yeah.
And we saw some pictures of the Dia de los Muertos, and as Gabi said, she likes a lot events where people dress up like carnivals, which I also like. I like a lot portraits, and I like everything about how societies deal with death or some cultural specific things. So it united the two of these things, and we wanted to go there to photograph that.
As foreigners, how did you perceive the Mexican relationship with death? Did anything surprise you?
For me, I think it makes death more, so to say, a little bit maybe easier, because my mother died in that year, and it was quite rough for me. So to see that can also be perceived as something not positive, but done in a positive way, is made it quite different.
Death is often seen as sad or scary, but in Mexico, this is more joyful. What was that like for you?
It is, of course, very striking. We did expect it a bit because we saw pictures of that before. But then once you really see it and feel, and you see the people live it, it's a very, very strong impression. And in Germany, for instance, on the 1st and 2nd of November, you're not allowed to dance by law. It has to be a quiet day. Mm-hmm. And in Mexico, it just seems the contrary. There is quiet moments, but then people go to the street and they dance and drink and dress up. It's very, very different, very moving.
How did you see the mix between Dia de los Muertos and Halloween?
It's difficult for us to differentiate between Halloween and Dia de los Muertos for Mexico, because I don't know. I don't know what's the real difference for the dressing up. I think for the young people, it's mostly to have fun and be in the street.
To my understanding, Dia de los Muertos became even more important since the James Bond film Spectre and Coco. So not only worldwide, it became more widely known, but also in Mexico, it became a bigger party. And we saw that some people, they were traditionally dressed like a Katharina or the skeleton theme, whereas others, they then also put on a pig's mask or cross-dressed or as a fireman. So it was indeed a little bit a shift towards carnival, but these were more individual cases. I think people, they just want to have fun and to celebrate. We cannot really judge how appropriate people in Mexico find this, but for us it was a very colorful and interesting party.
Did you ever feel like outsiders? How did the people react to you and your cameras?
Well, in the cemeteries, of course, we felt like a little bit like intruders, because when you see people at the cemetery, it should be like an intimate moment where people are not disturbed, and they should not be disturbed by cameras or flashes or anything like that. So that was a difficult moment, and we tried to be a little bit in the back of the place.
At the same time, though, people have ofrendas in their house, like this one, or in hotels. And when I walk past and I see an ofrenda through the open door, people see me looking, and they invited us in. They said, "Come on in. You can also come in and you can take pictures." So they invited us into their private space, which was very moving, also.
Why did you decide not only to exhibit photographs, but to recreate elements like ofrenda, cempasúchil flowers, and traditional decorations?
Well, we felt like there needed to be some additional element to the photos, not just the photos. I think the ofrenda explains a little bit better what the Dia de los Muertos is about.
What do you hope a German audience will understand or feel when walking through your exhibition?
I hope that people use, in general, when I show travel pictures, I hope that people, they look a little bit outside their own world and get to know something different, that they become a bit more open towards other cultures. And of course, we are not going to change if we have lived for 50, 60 years knowing the sad death. Still, to show people that things can be different, I think it is a good thing, and I hope people perceive it this way.
If Mexican people visit your exhibition in Munich, what would you like them to feel?
In any case, I hope they are not offended by the photos or by the ofrenda, and that they see there's something done with the heart, and trying to be as authentic as possible.
Yeah. I think the most embarrassing thing would be to say something that would offend them. We have had quite a few Mexican visitors, and they confirm that yes, indeed, we what we said is more or less how they perceive it too. So we're very glad that we didn't offend anybody. Yes.
Did this experience change your own personal perception of death?
For me, not being a believer, there has never been a life after, and I always saw that what I leave behind is the influences I have on this world, on people, and on also maybe politically or in a club, or the people around me. And I think this idea fits that quite well, because people say you're only dead when nobody thinks of you any longer. And yes, having an influence after your death is indeed something that's a very nice idea. And then whether there are souls or not is not the most important thing, I believe.
Could you return to Mexico for another photographic project?
Absolutely, yes.
We'd love to go back, indeed.
We don't know for which project, because Mexico is so big, and there's so many different cultures and people and places. So we just have to maybe do a little bit of research before planning anything. But in any case, yes.
What responsibility does a photographer have when portraying another culture?
So we have a certain responsibility how we show things, and as we really live for an open society, we want people to be open towards other cultures and peoples. I think as a photographer, for me, it's always something important to show some dignity, even when we show something, some poor people or something that is different. Show the dignity in there, and people usually live well and live happily, and people are kind.
What did you discover about Mexican people that you didn't know before?
They like partying very much. They are very open towards being photographed. They like food a lot. We were asked very often, so how do you like the food in Mexico?
Yeah, it was a big question.
Yes, in general, we felt very safe there, which was not obvious to us before. In each country you go, you have to look first, how freely can you move? But wherever we were, we felt perfectly safe and walked around. Yeah.
What message would you send to Mexicans about the value of their own traditions?
These traditions are most lovely. All traditions, I think, in countries we ever traveled to, they're very precious. We shouldn't let them disappear. We should really celebrate them. We should live them. And what we saw there, it was most impressive. Be aware that this is something special, and please continue living it and share it with the world.
Very well. Thank you. Just one more question, please. If you could dedicate this exhibition to someone who is no longer with you, who would you dedicate it to?
It's quite clearly our parents. In the ofrenda, we showed our parents. These are the ones that, for me, that was the first idea to put them there. Of course, there are more dead people we know, but that's what were the most important. Same for you, Gabi, wasn't it?
Well, that's all. Thank you very much for sharing these moments.
Thank you very much, Emilio. It was nice being with you. Thank you for coming and for sharing this.
Okay.